All righty. Hey, ladies. Hey, ladies. We are so excited. We are on the real countdown for the Renewal Retreat. In just 1 week, we will all be together for the retreat. And I am super excited to see you next Friday. But as I mentioned, we will have our women who are the dream team, our speakers, come in and share a little bit with you before then. And so I wanted to introduce you to Jenna Schutt. Now, Jenna and I had a whole conversation recorded. Didn't work. So this is take two. But as we just said, this means this is the one that God wanted you all to hear. So we are excited to have Jenna. We met via social media. Who knew that social media could actually help you make friends and godly connections? So this is Jenna Schutt. I am so excited to have you at the retreat. Thank you for saying yes. So ladies, welcome Jenna.
Hi, everybody. I am so excited to come. I'm going to be joining virtually. And so you are going to be able to see me just like you're seeing me right now. And it is going to be a wonderful time. I know that Joy has just poured her heart out into this retreat. And I know that you are all going to be able to feel that. It is going to be amazing.
Absolutely. And thank you for saying yes. In fact, as I shared with the ladies from Monday Manna, Jenna is the first person that actually has facilitated Monday Manna other than me. And that lets you know it's God because we started talking we called it virtual coffee, started talking. And before we knew it, we were like, well, how can we support each other? And how can we help each other? And anytime you meet people who are open to do that, that's how you know it's God. That's how you know it's kingdom work. And so we were able to connect not just for Monday Manna, but also for the retreat. So really quickly, Jenna, tell everybody about yourself. Give us a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, I first of all had so much fun on Monday Manna. That was an amazing time. My ladies came, your ladies came.
Hmm.
We had just a wonderful group conversation,
Hmm.
and I'm believing we're going to have just an extension of
Yeah.
that
Absolutely.
next week, which I think is going to be just so much fun. But for those of you who haven't seen my face yet, my name is Jenna Schutt, like Joy mentioned. And what I really talk about is the concept I call the Joy Reflex. And I won't give away too much because I'll be talking quite a bit more about
Hmm.
it on next Saturday.
Hmm.
But what that really is, in a nutshell, is just training your brain to go towards faith, peace, and joy as your first response and not your last resort. And how that all came about was through my own lived experience. So when I speak about it, you'll know that it's not just a theory, it's not something that I just thought up out of my brain, but it's something that I learned during my medical issues for the last 7 years. So, 7 years ago, I was diagnosed with a very rare, incurable bone marrow disease when both my children were still in diapers. And I walked out the last 7 years through IV chemo, multiple complications, procedures, and eventually 2 years ago, I had a stem cell transplant. And so when I talk about the joy reflex, I really share my story for his glory, showing what he showed me on how to train these things in your own self so that you choose them in your own heart. And you may be sitting there thinking, I've never gone through chemo, I've never had a transplant, but I always say that everyone has their own hard. You may be dealing with financial struggles. Maybe you have lost a job. Maybe you're looking for a job. Maybe it's a relationship issue. Maybe it's grief, anxiety, depression. Whatever your heart is, the Lord is there for you. And faith, peace, and joy are there for you to grab onto. And that is what I'm here to speak about.
How do you, and without giving too much away, how do you find joy in the tough times? Like how, because most of us are wired to be sad, depressed, anxious, frustrated, even angry with God, right? For the things that we are going through. So how do you encourage a woman to find joy in, as you say, her heart?
Yes, I think that is such a great question. And I love to say that things like choose faith over fear or choose joy are wonderful sayings, but they kind of are like bumper sticker faith. They sound great on a bumper sticker, but how in the world do we go from what I call knowledge faith to practice faith?
Oh,
So
wow.
a lot of us know that we know the verses, we go to church, we hear the pastor, but how do we take it from what we know up here to what we act in here. And that is really what the Joy Reflex is a framework, and it walks you through 3 steps of how you can
Mhm.
start to train that in and of yourself. And that is what we're gonna be talking about on Saturday. Again, like you said, I won't
Mhm.
give
Yes,
much
yes.
away, but I do have several things that you ladies are going to be getting. You're going to be getting a handout from me, and
Mhm.
you're also going to have a free downloadable that is going to help you train your own Joy Reflex completely free, something that you get to take home with you, that you get to have to help you start that, because that is really my heart, is to pour out and share my story. And I know that the theme this year is this changes everything, and I have to say that when Jesus shows up, when Jesus becomes real, when that thing that he has showed you through your hard works in your life, that does change everything. And
Absolutely.
that's really what we're going to talk about.
Absolutely. And don't you agree that many of us don't see the change until we have the hard?
Yeah.
I mean, many of us, it's easy to love the Lord, to worship the Lord at the mountain,
Yeah.
but it's in the valley that we really see our faith. We really see the trust that we should and need to have in God and everything like that. So, when you think about your story and where you are, what would you say, in a nutshell, was the change for you? Like, what was the this changes everything moment for you?
I think it was when I was in the hospital bed. I had an issue where I had a horrible infection. They told me I was triggering all of their sepsis screens. Ended up in the step down unit right next to the ICU, in and out of consciousness. And I remember just being so afraid, because at that point, my youngest son was only a month old. I had an 18-month-old at home. I am in the hospital bed, separated from my children, from my husband, and my vital signs were not good. My lab reports were not good. The things the doctors were telling me were not good. And I remember calling my husband, which he is a very strong man of God as well, and saying, "I'm really scared. What if all of these things
Uh-huh.
happen?" And, you start to go through all those what
Mhm.
ifs in your brain. And one of the biggest changes was I just told him, "What do I do?" And he said, "Well, what you're gonna do is you're gonna get in the Word, and you're gonna listen to it all the time. You're gonna play healing
Mhm.
verses. You're gonna play healing scriptures. You're gonna play healing testimonies." And at that point, what I realized now that I may not have known then was that was what started to change everything, because what I started to do was I started to train my brain to go towards his word and to anchor myself in his word when those things started to come, when fear and anxiety and pressure started to come. And I think that was such a big shifting point,
Mhm. Mhm.
because it went from what do I do to anchor myself in the Lord. And
Yeah.
to bring out a point that you had just mentioned, a lot of times you learn how to swim in the calm waters, but you don't really see the benefits of that training
Mhm.
until the water gets really rough.
Yeah.
And then you really see how good of a swimmer you are, and
Mhm.
how much of that training was paramount to your survival in that
Beautiful.
storm. And I think that when you're talking about the mountain and the valley, it's very similar to that, where when you train yourself, when you train and yourself to go from that knowledge faith to
Mhm.
that used faith, then you can really see that difference when you
Mhm.
are in that storm and you're treading that water and your strength is holding and that pressure is just w- weighing on you,
Mhm.
but you are able to stay with your head above water because of what you have trained.
I love it. Okay, okay, okay. That's it. That's all we're gonna tell them. We're not gonna say anything else. So next Saturday, ladies, you will have the opportunity to see Jenna, work with Jenna, experience the Joy Reflex, which I'm excited about as well. So, Jenna, thank you so much for taking this time to chat. We're excited about Saturday. Thank you for the resources. Thank you for your transparency and your desire to help the women of God and the women of the Speaking of Joy community. So we appreciate you and we look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Now, ladies, if you want to continue to follow Jenna, the email has all of her information in there. Feel free to follow her, like, share. all of those things because we want to continue to support this woman of God. So we'll see you next weekend for the Renewal Retreat. Have a good one, ladies.